A crazy story. Now, I remember one time I went out with my friend and I saw this girl and I walked up to her and I just tried to start a conversation with her. And the first thing she said to me was, "What kind of car do you drive?" For real. I used to think that kind of stuff only happened in movies, only happened to other people. And that was my cue to keep it moving. No need trying to impress. And that's the thing. When you are driven by what you have, when that's where you get your worth from, see, that's where you start trying to, I guess I can get this person because I can show them what kind of car do I drive, or I can bring them with the things that I have. See, when you have honey, the bees come. Do not be surprised when the bees stop coming because you run out of honey. This is why you have to be rooted in yourself. I always talk about, knowing yourself. This is why you have to know yourself. You have to realize that, your identity doesn't lie in the things that are outside of you. And if you derive your identity from the things that you have, see, most people in your life will be as a result of the things that you have. And when you lose the things that you have, you also lose these people. And you can't be upset at it. Because that's the foot that you put forward. And when they lose the things that they have, everything comes crumbling down, including their relationship. And they say, and you can't trust anybody. But the Bible says, do not put your trust in men. And that is pretty specific. Why? Because everyone else can be compromised except you. And I know it hurts, but you can't take it personal. And this is why you have to know yourself. This is why you have to look within. But if you do not believe in God, then you only have yourself to believe in. And even you can be compromised. But I would say, start from within. Because that which you look for, it's already within. When all that you have is outside of you, then there is nothing within. And that's why you have to be truthful with yourself. Now, imagine if I had tried to impress her. Or if I had said to myself, this is why I need to get a good car. And, that's what most people do. Because there is really nothing in themselves, because they are not fully aware of the depth within themselves. And they put their value and their self-worth on the things that are outside of themselves. And in the same way, it also affects their relationship, because there comes a time in life where, the things that are outside of yourself, they can only do so much for you. And everybody will go through these times in their life where, you have to look within, and that's where, you can't fake it. And where no matter how much you try, you can't rely on those things that are outside of you. The only thing that you will be able to rely on is that which is within. This is why we see news and we hear about people who seem to have everything and they still take their own life. And I'm not saying you give up or quit the pursuit to be successful in your daily endeavor. Contrary to that, you should have a successful and happy life. But what I'm saying is, you are more than the things that you can have. What I'm saying is that your true essence and your true self lies within. I mean, as a man, if your worth lies only on what you can provide, then what do you do when the next woman can bring the same thing that you can, if not more? So with the world changing and with men no longer being the sole breadwinner or the most purpose-driven member of the household, say you have to rediscover your worth. You have to rediscover your worth in the world and in relationship. Otherwise, you'll be left behind in both. And when a man's value is no longer measured by what he does, his finances or social standing, how does he determine his worth? Think about it. Now, I wonder if that's why we see what we see, at least in our society today, with the way so many men feel left out. It hasn't always been like that. And I think to myself, perhaps there could be something there to say that things are changing and men are, failing to rediscover their worth outside of what they can do. And perhaps that's why everybody wants to know what you bring to the table. And with that mindset, it really doesn't matter what you bring to the table, because the table can always take more. So you need something more than that, because at the end of the day, I don't think what you bring to the table is really all that there is. And it doesn't matter how much they might make you think that that's the utmost important. Otherwise, the people who bring everything to the table, they will have the best life. But we know that's not the case. So there has to be something more in our new changing world. Now, when a man's value is no longer measured by what he does, his finances, or social standing, how does he determine his worth? A man's presence, his depth of awareness, is his most valuable asset. So a man's worth can be found in the depth of his being. A shallow man can easily be swayed and concerned. He doesn't know himself deeply and doesn't really care to know, and this makes him be treated worthless by his relationships and the world around him. A man's presence, so always in the now, and a knowing of the now, a knowing of oneself, and his depth of awareness, which is the extent to which a man understands complex issues, emotions, and the underlying motivation behind their thoughts and actions, going beyond superficial understanding. So that is a deep knowing of oneself, becomes a man's greatest asset. We have to be deeply sourced, rather than merely moving from one busy surface to another, one busy activity to another. So the way of the new man is a way of deep gaze, breath, and purpose. So we're talking about really living in the present and living in the moment of knowing oneself. So it cannot be fake. Like right now you're knowing. Right now, you're knowing who you are. Right now, you're knowing who you are at the depth, or you're avoiding it. You're either relaxing and living your soul's purpose on earth, or you're resisting your calling. Either you are cultivating a steady yes towards this moment, towards life, even in the midst of life's ever-present mystery or uncertainty, or you are afraid to feel all and live as unknowable openness, which is a state of awareness where one can embrace the inherent mysteries and uncertainty of existence with a beginner's mind, free of expectations and judgment. At its core, it's really just actively welcoming situations and realities that are not fully understood or are inherently unknowable. So you can be afraid of life, and then you are not living in this awareness that life is filled with uncertainty, and this uncertainty should be embraced. And that's fear. Fear, some say it's forget everything and run, or face everything and rise. But fear is a lack of trust in the now. Fear is saying no to some aspect of the present moment. So it's important to cultivate total trust in the reality that you're living in right now, however vast it may be. Now, reality is happening right now, and it includes you. Feel what is as it is. Like, feel all. Saying yes to the entire now. This can help you know who you are. It's not running from life's reality, your life's reality. And it's not running towards other people's expectations or societal expectations for you. So look within to know yourself. Your worth is not in what you have or what you're capable of doing. When a man identifies with money or accomplishment, see, he becomes weak when compared with those who have more than him. But when a man knows himself and has a self-radiant awareness, so that means a man has become aware of his conscious self and his inherent value, which comes from having a depth because he knows himself. And now he can be in harmony with life and the reality of his existence. And there is something I read from The Way of the Superior Man that I would like to read here. It says, the way of the superior man is to realize your true strength by knowing who you are at depth. Right now, you learn to feel into awareness fully, so you know yourself as conscious presence. And I think it goes in line with everything else that we've been talking about. Your strength is knowing who you are at depth, knowing who you are within, and learning to feel fully. So learning to be present in the now. When you're present, you see, you know who you are from within, and you know who you know what you want, and so that means you also have an understanding of your purpose, or at least, working towards it. So you're living from a place of intention rather than living from a place where you're easily swayed by the things around you, and it's difficult to be yourself or even be your authentic self because you are not really living for you, or better still, you derive your worth from that which is outside of yourself, and so you never really put anything inside of yourself, or you never really look within to find any worth from within. So your worth will always be determined from that which is outside of yourself. And that's the difference between a man whose presence is deeply sourced. You have to look within. You have to look within and not outside. How many times do we see news and you see people who crash out and ruin their life because they are not accepted by someone whom they claim to love, or because they've been rejected by someone whom they say they love, and because of that they throw everything down the drain, including their lives, or the ones whom the world has labeled to be incel, and they feel like they've been abandoned or left behind by the world and the women whom they seek to pursue. So it's important that men know that what you're looking for is not outside of you, it's within. We also have to understand that even though things are changing, that's the ever nature of the world that we live in, but men and women are different. A man can enjoy staying home and playing with his kids, but deep down, you are driven by a sense of mission. And the man may not know what the mission is, but unless he fully discovers this deep purpose and live it fully, his life will feel empty at its core, even if his intimate relationship and family life are full of love. And the woman who is the feminine, your professional life, your career may be incredibly successful, but at your core, you won't be fulfilled, just like the man, unless love is flowing fully in your family or your intimate life. The mission, which is that mission that the man must have, otherwise he will feel empty in his core. See, that mission or the search for freedom is the number one priority of the man, of the masculine, where the search of love is the priority for the feminine. And to deny this or go against this is to deny one's nature, one's essence. And this is why men would rather watch football, boxing, rather than love stories, because the sport is all about achieving freedom. There is a mission that a collective group of people come to accomplish. For men, the masculine, see, mission, competition, putting it all on the line. All of these are form of ecstasy. This is our God's given nature. But the woman is different. For the feminine, the search of love This is what touches the core. Whether it's in love stories, shows, talking to your friends about relationships. The desire for love is what appears in feminine form of entertainment. The feminine wants to be filled with love. This is in its very nature. And that's why God said to the man, love your wife. And when love is not forthcoming for the feminine, then chocolate and ice cream and a good romantic drama will do. But the masculine wants to feel a life lived on the edge. And if he doesn't have the courage to do this himself, then he will turn to watching it on the TV. And my heart goes out for the people who feel like they've been left behind, or the people who have, truly been left behind by our world, and men and women, but specifically for the men, because these are the ones that I have personally seen. And I really wish I can help. I really wish I could make a difference. And I guess this is my one way of trying. You are more than what you can do. Do not put your worth based on what you can do, because there will always be people who can do better than you. And so you will always feel weaker before them. You have a value. You are valuable. You feeling like you do not have a value in this world, or you feel like you don't deserve anyone because a man whose value is not measured by what he has lives his life not through the things that he has. He lives his life through the things that measure his value, and those things are found within. And that influences everything around him and the people around him. So ignore all the things that distract you. I didn't realize how much distractions I had in my life, and this includes people as well, until I started this journey and started doing these videos. So I really hope that you can turn the distractions off, the distractions that are keeping you from knowing who you are, knowing yourself, being with yourself, and finding contentment within yourself. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you for the support. Please leave a like.